KFT, and I'll be your host this evening. I get to do it on the 5th Sunday of the month, which occurs 4 times a year, so this is one of my nights. This net is scheduled every Sunday evening, 7:30 local time, to help keep amateurs up to date on news and events in the Atlanta area. The club's repeaters are linked from 7:30 to about 9 o'clock for the net. A list of the repeaters is available on the Atlanta Radio Club website, atlantaradioclub.org. This is not an emergency net. However, if you have emergency traffic during the net, please inform net control, that would be me, by keying up and saying break, break and your call sign. This net always handles emergency traffic with top priority. This is a directed net, and that means that all traffic must go through net control. If you wish to get the attention of another station or me during the net, please key up and say contact and your call sign. The net control, me, will acknowledge you at the appropriate time. Checking in, please key up and say this is, and then listen for others. And if you don't hear anyone else, then key up again and slowly give your call sign once in plain English, then again phonetically, followed by your name and your location. And go slow, guys. I do this all by hand. Atlanta Radio Club welcomes all amateurs to participate in this net. You do not have to be a club member to join in. Let's start off the net tonight by doing our short time check-ins. After we do the short time check-ins, we'll do the announcements. I know there are several important announcements, so if you're a short timer, check in and out, but continue to listen. If there are any short time check-ins, people that want to check in and out with no traffic, call now.
This is AM4IVN. Mike 4, India, Victor, November. Charlotte in Atlanta, short time.
Not hearing anybody else jump in there, recognizing Charlotte, KM4, India, Victor, November, IVN. It's good to hear you, Charlotte, and I have a sneaky feeling you will be listening to the net for the announcement parts. Any other short time check-ins? Anytime. Any short timers, call now.
This is KK4, HQD, 004, Hotel, Uniform Echo, Andrea Indicator, short time, no traffic, over.
Also recognizing Andrea, KK4HUE Indicator. Andrea, we've got you on the books. Okay, since Andrea jumped in, let's try one more time. Short timers, anybody want to check in and out, call now. But listen a little bit later because we do have announcements. Nothing heard. If you're a new ham, if you're new to the hobby, or this is the first time you've checked into this net, so you're new to the net, you've heard 2 people do it perfectly correctly, call now. Nothing heard, so it's just us old timers left. Stations with announcements. If you're listening to the net, if you have an announcement, I have one. If you have an announcement, call now. Heard. I can make actually make 2 announcements. I can make one for somebody else. They may come in later. This coming Thursday is a club meeting. It is also the kickoff of our election season. So we need all the club members who are interested in the elections, who are interested in seeing how their club operates, should come to this meeting. This is where we form the election committee that actually runs the elections. Y'all know where the meeting is, the Atlanta Red Cross Center, 1955 Monroe Circle. It's on the website, atlantaradioclub.org. The program is going to be a series of stories, sort of a show and tell kind of thing, where we're talking about things of interest in ham radio, and there may actually be some stuff there to handle, and I think some folks went to Dayton So we'll have a fairly good meeting based on current events, I guess you could say. Also, we're making plans for Field Day. You know that Field Day is coming up, I think it's the third weekend in June. The club would be interested in seeing if there's any ideas about locations we can use. Otherwise, we'll go back to where we were last year and the year before. It is the members' club. If the members are interested, their input is absolutely the best thing that they can do. It's not required, but it's certainly, if you've got a club and you want to see it do things, then you need to chime in and tell it what to do. So there will be some field day planning done, preliminary planning done at the meeting Thursday. Final announcement, next weekend, next Saturday in fact, is the Atlanta and Kinnahoochee Ham Fest. Jim Miller Park, same place it's been for a while. We have a few more attractions this year. Looks like it's going to be more vendors. Certainly going to be a good thing. If you're interested in looking at gear and tailgating or inside stuff, we'll have ICOM there for sure this year. This will be the thing to come to. So keep it on your books. Next Saturday is the Atlanta Ham Fest, Jim Miller Park in Marietta. All this information is available on the website at www.atlantaradioclub.org. Are there any stations on the net that need to add to or amplify in some way those announcements? Nothing heard. That's some kind of interference, so we'll go right through it. This is KB4KFT. My name is Bill. This is the Atlanta Radio Club Sunday Night Net. Holiday weekends tend to be slow. General check-ins. Anybody, anywhere, call.
This is Whiskey 2, November Papa, W2NP. Chandler checking in from Cabbagetown this evening, 73 to the net.
This is KJ4CUY, Kilo Juliet 4, Charlie Uniform Yankee, Aid in Atlanta.
This is KW4MO, Kilo Whiskey 4, Mike Oscar, Allen in Midtown.
Let me grab it. Now, it seems like my fifth Sunday falls on a lot of holidays for some reason, and I always end up with the one closest to the 31st Super Bowl night, I guess. Recognizing Chandler in Cabbagetown, W2NP. Good to hear you, Chandler. Good to hear you, Chandler. KJ4CUY, Aid in Atlanta, sounding good, Aid. And KW4MO, Allen in Midtown. Allen, spell your name for me, please.
It is Alpha Lima Alpha Nancy? I forget what N is. Anyway.
Okay, we'll get Alpha Lima Alpha November. All right, there's like 9 different ways to spell Allen, so I want to make sure I got it right. Let's continue on. General check-ins. Anybody, anywhere, call.
This is
W5DAN, Whiskey 5, Delta Alpha November, Dan in Conyers.
This is KM4CEH, Kilo Mike 4, Papa Echo Hotel, John in Chamblee.
This is Kilo Mike 4, Quebec Golf Uniform. That's KM4 QGU, Larry in Marietta.
Let me grab it again. recognizing Dan in Conyers, W5DAN. Welcome, Dan. KM4PEH, that's John. Hope I got the name right, John. In Chambly, there was a bit of static came in right then, but it sounded like John. If it's not, then correct me. And also KM4QGU, Quebec Golf Uniform, Larry and Marietta. If I got those wrong, let me know, guys. In the meantime, general check-ins, anybody, anywhere, call. Grab it. Don't leave too much dead air in here. You were real rough tonight. If I didn't just know who you were, I wouldn't know who you were. Recognizing K4RAB, Rick and Marietta. Really, you were more noise than signal, and I hope this is Rick.
It is. I'm just on a handheld tonight. That's why I'm noisy.
Okay, yeah, you usually are pretty solid, so you were solid that time. All right, Rick, K4RAB, you're on the books. General check-ins, anybody, anywhere, call. Let's stop this for a second and let's go back. I did not announce the question of the night because I really just want to get general comments from people on the net tonight. And the general comments about the upcoming Hamfest next weekend on Saturday. A lot of us are involved in planning it. A lot of us are involved in being there on the Saturday and working it. It's kind of hard for the people who are so closely involved with it to really understand what people want. So a real quick question tonight, starting with Chandler in Cabbagetown. Chandler, why do you go to a Hamfest, and what would you like to see at our Hamfest that we're not doing? How about that? Over to you, W2NP. All right, nothing heard there. KJ4CY8, you have a response?
Whiskey 2, November Papa.
We'll come back to Chandler. Nothing heard from me. Chandler, go ahead.
I just stepped away and heard you were calling for me.
I want to get some comments about the upcoming Hamfest. Why do you go to a Hamfest, and what would you like to see at the Atlanta Hamfest that's not being done?
Usually I like going to the Hamfest just to see the different kinds of radios that I can't afford quite yet. I like seeing the different antenna solutions that people have. Usually always swing by the Wireman and get some more cable. And there's always testing going on at the Hamfest, and that's nice. I'd like to see some different breakout groups, kind of like what we do on Second Sundays or whatever. Different things about Arduino or different kits or things that you can build. I understand there might be somebody at the Hamfest that's helping to build an antenna, which could be pretty interesting. That's pretty much all I got. Back to you, Bill.
Yeah, the forums are kind of hard to do because there's only an hour, and we played around with the idea of making the forums an hour and a half and making them more hands-on, and we played around with the idea of putting a couple tables for kit building or something upstairs. The problem is finding somebody who's willing to run it. You know, people come to Hamfest, they want to do their things and then go. Nobody wants to be there all day unless they're volunteering, even though there's a good dinner at the end of it. And I have not forgotten the 20-meter vertical either. I've got the components to put one together, so when the time comes, we can put one together. Anyway, thanks, Chandler. I keep wanting to call you Chandler tonight. Thanks, Chandler. Move on down the list. KW4MO. Alan, what would you go to Hamfest for, and what would you like to see at the Atlanta Hamfest?
Well, this will be my second one. I've only ever been to I guess this year's Stone Mountain one. I'm going to try to make it to some of the workshops, the workshops in the, what do you call them, forums, because I'm relatively new and want to learn some stuff, and I like hands-on things, so I'm going to check out what's there, and I'll probably have more on what I'd like after this event, I suppose.
I don't think you could really judge much by the last Hamfest over Stone Mountain. The weather was so bad that I would say at least a third of the people didn't even show up. At least half the tailgaters. Normally that whole field out there is just full, and they have everybody crammed up in that little barn. So this will be. The weather is usually different at this one, whether it's good or bad. We always have interesting weather in June. So remember one year it was so cool we were wearing sweaters out there at noon. Anyway, we'll see you at the Hamfest, Alan. We go down the list, W5DAN, Dan in Conyers. Dan, you still with us?
Yeah, Bill, I'm still here. The main thing I like to do is buy junk at the Hamfest, so I like walking around, talking to people about different stuff, and seeing what kind of junk they got for sale, older the better, tubes, that's good. Just walking around and buying old junk, so I will be there. Thanks.
Contact?
Contact, go ahead.
This is Dave. I was having radio trouble, and I hope I'm back now. So, get a chance.
Hey, it sounds like you're still having trouble. You're just barely audible.
Oh, okay. Let me
tamper with it for a minute, and I'll work down the list, and I'll come back to you when we get to the end of the list. Your questions about the Hamfest. Moving on, KM4PEH, that's John in Chamblee. John, Hamfest, why'd you go, and what would you like to see at the Atlanta Hamfest?
This will be my first, so the main thing I want to do is figure out what in the world a Hamfest is. I did volunteer to help out with the Boy Scout merit badge, so hopefully that's going to work out for a number of boys, and I'm hoping really just to learn a lot about radio and TV equipment, see what it's all about. KM4PEH over.
And thanks for helping out with the merit badge. We were trying to see if we could get part of that moved inside like a presentation, but apparently, the way it's handled is a little bit differently. In any event, you primarily just, for me, it's to talk to people I wouldn't normally run into. Next week, this coming Saturday is the Atlanta Hamfest. The next Saturday is one in Knoxville. I used to live in Knoxville, so I take an opportunity to go up to that one. Last couple of years, I've actually tailgated. Year before last, I had a table inside, and then last year I tailgated, for about half of it, and then about maybe 3 hours into it, I closed up and went inside and basically just talked to people that I wouldn't normally ever run into. So, you've got it. It's a place for people to congregate, for one thing, and buy junk, as Dan says. There's good junk and bad junk, and you can find both at a Hamfest. Moving on down the list, this is KB4KFT. My name is Bill. This is the Atlanta Radio Club Sunday Night Net. And now we're going for KM4QGU, a tongue twister call sign. Larry and Marietta. Larry, you still with us?
Yes, sir, Bill. This is KM4QGU. Actually, I just got my license a couple of months ago, and I've never been to a Hamfest, so I'm looking forward to this one to kind of try and find out what they're about.
KM4QGU, clear.
Couple of first-timers. Very good, Larry. We'll be looking for you out there. Every ham fest has a different personality. Everyone you go to will be different, have a different mix of people, different mix of stuff. It's a very personal kind of thing. In any event, just go and have fun. That's mainly it. And holler at me when you get there. I'll be wearing some kind of odd-colored shirt and be building antennas in the upper building, which I think is the B building. I'll have a couple of tables up there building antennas after about 10 a.m. Rick, K4RAB, you're up.
K4RAB, you hear me all right now?
Can hear you now.
Good, okay. I have to say I've been to quite a few ham fests, including a couple of Dayton Hamventions, Huntsville, Shelby, and of course a whole lot of Atlanta and Alfred Ham Fest, but and like you said, they're all different. They all have different personalities, but I don't know what to tell you as far as what I like to see. It's varied. I like to see what I can find, and of course run into people. So plan on being over there. I'm planning on being over there Friday to help people get in. So at least I can contribute a little bit to it. Back to you. This is K4RB.
Rick, how we got that, and I'm sort of disappointed. The company I'm working for now, I need to go to one of their installations, and they picked Friday, and I'm going to miss helping out Friday. I like going over there in the morning, just hanging around all day. Basically, helping on Friday is not that hard. And you kind of get to see where everything's going to be, and it's usually a small enough crowd where you get to hang out with people, and it's not so busy that you end up being wore out. So you can take my place this year, Rick, and have fun. Let's move back up to 8, KJ4CUY. 8, are you doing any better 2-meter-wise? I would say that is a no, guys. So that brings me to the end of the check-in list. We've got 10 so far, counting me. Let's try one more round of general check-ins. General check-ins, anybody, anywhere, call.
This is KI4UTY, Kilo India 4 Uniform Tango Yankee, Rob in Midtown.
Recognizing Rob in Midtown, KI4UTY, Mr. PSK31, guys. If you got any PSK31 questions, ask Rob. Rob, the Hamfest, you've heard the question. What do you think?
Actually, I haven't heard the question. Would you? I know it's about Hamfest, but what's the question?
Well, shame on you, Rob. It's why do you go to a Hamfest, and what would you like to see at the Atlanta Hamfest that we're not doing?
Oh, okay, thanks. Yeah, I think it's like probably a lot of other people answer. The Hamfest is a place to get to see people that you only talk to on the air, and it's amazing how many people you really know when and when you hear a call sign, you go, "Oh, look, it's him or her." That's always fun. And then with the the forums are going to be good. The antenna launching contest should be fun to watch with the drones. That should be a blast. And just all kinds of things. The satellite guy and the music, and they're a lot of fun. What we have not done this year that I hope we do next year is just get more kids involved. I'd like to see more youth stuff, and I think that's gonna happen. But they're a blast. I can't wait till Saturday. Should be good. KF4UTY back to net control.
Boy Scouts are doing a merit badge. That's that's something. Maybe that could become a regular thing. And this Hamfest is the state convention this year, so there'll be some people from outside the area coming in. I have not gotten confirmation yet on Aries. Apparently, the person who was making the arrangements didn't quite make the arrangements, so we may actually move ARL back an hour and let them have the entire 2 hours if they need it. You never can tell about those things. I'm still working to see if I can get Aries confirmed. In any event, thanks, Rob. You may be the last check-in. Let's go. One more check-in. General check-ins. Anybody, anywhere, call now. Nothing heard. Holiday weekend, so we'll call it quits at that. We have 11 check-ins, counting myself. I do tend to talk during the nets. Last year, I went to the Asheville Ham Fest in western North Carolina, they call it, and tailgated there for the first time I'd ever tailgated at that particular Ham Fest. And I was wearing my little KB4 KFT badge. So I deal with people. I make sure they get my call signs, so if they need a problem, they can contact me. I don't sell junk, but you never can tell. I was surprised, really surprised at the number of people that came by there and spoke to me that I had talked to on the Mount Mitchell repeater. For those of you who don't know, my mom was sick for a year or so, really sick at the end. And I was going over there about every 3 weeks, leaving here on Friday evening, coming back on Sunday afternoon. And as soon as I get up to about Greenville, South Carolina, I get that Mount Mitchell machine. It has just a phenomenal coverage. And basically, except for one stretch of the highway along 221 near the top of the mountain crossing door, I would lose it for about 5 miles. The rest of the way, I had full coverage on that repeater. And I was just chatting with the people up through there. There was at least 5 or 6 people came by who I had never spoken to, but they had been, listening to the frequency, and they came by and told me how, they were sorry they were about my mom and this, that, and the other. And, basically I got to catch up with people that I had talked to for 2.5 years, every, once a month or twice a month, going and coming, and never met face to face. It was to me a surprising and somewhat gratifying experience to see the number of people that just remembered who I was based on the few trips I made through there. So Hamfest for me often are a time to just go meet people that you talk to on the repeater or you talk to on HF, and you never meet face to face. That being said, we'll go ahead and close the net. According to the atomic clock on the wall, it's 4 minutes till 8, so we're out of the way of the Aries net that decided to sit up on top of us. We had a total of 11 check-ins, and I will post the check-in list plus the announcements on the Atlanta Radio Club Yahoo group within the next few minutes. And meanwhile, see y'all next week. 73, everybody, good luck, and we'll see you at the Hamfest. This is KB4 KFT. My name is Bill, closing the net. 73, everybody.
KB4 KFT, KF4UTY.
Too late for a late check-in now, Rob.
I've already checked in. Yeah, give me a call when you get a chance. I got something quick to tell you. So when you get a minute, just give me a call. Thanks.
Say what? How about give me 15 minutes?
For WLF. Hey, Bill, I've got your antenna center. I wanted to get it back to you. And you said you're going to be at the event. Yeah, of course,
A lot of noise came in there. I think I heard somebody say they had an antenna tuner they wanted to get, or an antenna analyzer they wanted to get back to me. Just bring it to the Hamfest.
You got it, Bill. Yeah, I'll bring it to Hamfest. And I want to build an antenna with you, so we'll see you there. 73 KB4 WLF.
We have 3 tables, so it works out really good for 40 meters and 20 meters, but there'll always be some guy walking there and want to build a 160-meter loop. And, what I always say to them is there's a Home Depot about 3 miles near you. You go by the wire, because that's like a whole roll of wire. So, we'll see you at the Hamfest. KB4 KFT, be clear and monitoring.
Yeah, it's fine business, Bill. KB4 WLF. Yeah, I want to build a 40-meter dipole. That's where I want to do my activity, and I can bring my own material. So I'll bring some wire, and I'm looking forward to seeing you. KB4 WLF. There.
Keep going clear and keep coming back. Don't bring anything. Don't bring anything. I have the antennas that I build are not really designed to to be permanent antennas, though I know a couple of people that have put them up for a couple of years and they've been okay. One we built last year, the young lady met me at GARS last month and said that they had just taken it down and replaced it with a G5RV, so she used it for 11 months and something, no problem. But you don't worry about that. I have enough wire from the States and enough wire that's donated to me where I could build antennas every weekend for the next 2 years. One guy up in Cleveland, Tennessee, gave me 18,000 feet of wire. It was in 300 and 400 and 200-foot lengths in bundles of 28 to 29 wires each. But all total, when I got it all stripped and clean, I had 18,000 feet of wire. So you don't worry about bringing wire. KB4 KFT, I'll be clear this time in monitoring.
Copy that, Bill. KB4 WLF. I will not bring anything but your antenna analyzer. And thank you so very much for holding that workshop at the HamFest. Looking forward to seeing you. And this is KB4 WLF, clear and monitor.
KJ4 WLF, KI4UTY. Just one quick thing. I should have said this earlier. One of the highlights of the HamFest is Bill's antenna build, and you're gonna have fun, and you're gonna get a cool antenna out of it. So we'll see you next week. KI4UTY, I am clear.
KI4UTY, KB4 WLF. Thanks for letting me know that. I also have an antenna launcher that I use. It's really kind of not a contraption, really, but it's what do you know about the antenna launcher workshop? Over.
You say something about an antenna launcher. There's going to be an antenna launcher contest, right, at the HamFest, by the way. First prize is $50. I think they're going to put some kind of hoop up, some kind of target. You're going to have to, get your projectile, whether it's from a slingshot or pneumatic launcher, through it. And then there's also going to be one for drones where they have to, pilot the drone through it. So bring that one too.
Copy that. That sounds great. I didn't know how that was going to work, but I will bring that one. It's different. It's a little pistol crossbow that has a very small arrow, but I don't think it's be dangerous as long as there's enough clearance around the target area. So, I'm looking forward to doing that. I will bring my antenna launcher and we'll just see what the committee says about me entering the contest. Okay, for UTY, this is KB4 WLF, and I am clear and monitoring.
Contact.
Antenna launcher contest is at 10 a.m. 10 a.m. And there's a $50 gift certificate prize for each of the two categories. This is KJ4CUI. Over.
KJ4 CUI. Yeah, I copied that. It's the antenna launcher contest is at 10 a.m. Copy that. That's fine business. I will bring my launcher and enter the contest. I'm looking forward to it. KB4 WLF, clear and monitoring.
Having radio trouble, so I'll try now. KJ4CUI clear.